Hey guys, today I am going to be talking to you about selling on Amazon.com from Canada and how you can do that. So one of the biggest questions that I get asked is, how do you sell on Amazon.com if you live in Canada? And so I personally live in Canada, and the majority of the sales that I make are made on Amazon.com. So how do you go about this? How do you start selling on Amazon.com from Canada? Well, the first thing you have to decide is whether or not you're going to purchase inventory in the United States or if you're going to purchase inventory in Canada. If you decide to purchase inventory in Canada, then there's a few more hoops that you have to jump through in order to be able to sell on Amazon.com. If you want to purchase inventory in the United States, then it's a little easier because you can just send the inventory to a prep center, but we'll get a little bit more into that after. So let's say you live in Canada and you want to purchase the inventory within Canada and then sell it on Amazon.com. The best way to go about this would be purchasing items from online retail stores, say like Walmart, Best Buy, Target would be in the United States, Toys R Us, which we still have here in Canada, and any sort of online retailers. Start purchasing from them. Find profitable products that you can purchase in Canada and then resell at a profit in the United States. So once you've found that inventory, whatever you've found, then purchase that within Canada and send it either to your house or to a prep center. I recommend using a prep center when you're going to be sending the inventory to the United States. The reason being is they will be able to take the stuff across the border for you. If you don't find a prep center, then you got to figure out how you're going to get that inventory across the border. And there's a few more intricacies that go with that. So I recommend, if you are going to be purchasing your inventory in Canada, to actually use a prep center within Canada that will be able to take your stuff across the border. Because not all prep centers can take your inventory from Canada to the United States. So you're going to want to reach out to the prep center first and confirm whether or not they are able to take your inventory from Canada to the United States. So first thing, you have to decide whether or not you're selling or you're going to be purchasing in Canada or the United States. The second thing is whether you're going to be getting the inventory sent to you or whether you're going to get it sent to a prep center. As I said, I do recommend prep center, but it's totally up to you. If you have a way of getting your stuff across the border, then you can do it on your own as well. The next thing is once you found a prep center, once you found a profitable product to purchase, then what? So what you're going to do, let's say you find an item on Toys R Us that you want to purchase, a toy. We're coming into closer to Christmas time, so Q4 is the hottest time to sell toys, so that could be something that you found. And so you find this toy, you have a prep center, you're all signed up with them. Now what? So the best way to go about it is to purchase the item from Toys R Us and put the prep center's shipping address in the shipping address portion of your order. Once you've done that, then you can send your inventory directly to them. Make sure for your billing address that you use your own home address or whichever address you've set up for your credit card. But for the shipping address, ship it to the prep center. Once the item has shipped and it's on its way to the prep center, then depending on the prep center, you can either let them know that the stuff is on its way, or a lot of them will just inform you once they've received it. So a lot of prep centers they don't require you to tell them that stuff is on its way. But if it's your first ever order going to the prep center, then it could be a good idea to notify them that the stuff is going to be on its way and that they should be expecting inventory from you. So then from there, once they receive the inventory, then what good prep centers will do is they will send you the quantity that they received, the description of the item they received, and they will send you the weight and dimensions of the box so that you can go into Amazon Seller Central and print a discounted UPS shipping label for them. Then you just have to email that back to the prep center, and they will, as long as it's a prep center that can take your stuff across the border, then they'll put the label on the box and take the stuff across the border for you. Now, if you aren't going to be doing a formal entry, which we're not going to get into in this video, but if you have to send like $50,000 or $100,000 across in one day, then you should do a formal entry. Like I said, we're not going to get into that in this video, but if you are just taking, you know, like $500 worth or anything under $800 worth, then the prep center can take that across in one day without having to pay any sort of duties. It's the de minimis. So basically that's how much you're allowed, $800 per warehouse per day. So that's what you're allowed to take across the border without having to pay duties or anything on. So anything more than 800, then you have to do a formal entry, which costs money, and which I don't really advise unless you're doing huge numbers, then you can do it. But a lot of good prep centers, like let's say you have $10,000 worth of stuff, then they'll take that across in 13 different days. $800 per day kind of thing. A good prep center will work with you and try to get your stuff across as quickly as possible while avoiding having to do that formal entry. So then, now what? Your stuff's across the border, UPS has it, now what? So once UPS has your inventory, then they're going to be taking it or shipping it to the Amazon FBA warehouse. And from the UPS, then once your stuff arrives at an Amazon FBA warehouse, then you have to wait for them to receive it. Once an Amazon FBA warehouse employee receives your inventory into your inventory on Amazon, then your item is eligible for sale. And then you're just waiting for it to basically, for a customer to purchase it and for you to sell it. So that is how you get the inventory from Canada to an Amazon FBA warehouse in the States. The other option that I talked about was to purchase inventory within the United States even though you live in Canada. And so that's another option, is you can purchase your inventory from like say Target.com or Walmart.com and get it sent to a US prep center. Now in this case you don't have an option, you have to use a prep center because you can't get the items sent to your house in the United States if you live in Canada. So the only option with purchasing your inventory in the United States to sell on Amazon.com is to use a prep center. So find a good prep center. Ideally, I recommend using a prep center in a tax-free state so that you don't have to pay any sales tax on the inventory that you're purchasing. So once you've found a prep center in a sales tax-free state, then you're going to do the same thing. Go to Target.com, find that profitable product. Once you've found the product, then you're going to ship the product directly from Target.com to the prep center in the tax-free state. Then once the tax-free state prep center receives that inventory, then they, same thing, will send you the weight and dimensions, the description, the quantity, and let you know what they need labels for. And then you're going to do the same thing. You're going to go to sellercentral.amazon.com. You're going to go into the create a shipment or send to inventory tab, and you're going to create those shipping labels to send to, so that they can send the inventory to an Amazon FBA warehouse. The perk of this is nothing has to go across the border, so you can send as much as you want in one day. There's no $800 per warehouse per day limit. So this allows you to send a ton of inventory at once, so you can order a bunch and not have to worry about, you know, it's gonna take 100 days for you to get this $80,000 of inventory across the border. You could send $80,000 in one day from a US-based prep center. So that's what you kind of have to decide, whether you want to purchase your inventory in Canada or purchase it in the United States. For me personally, I purchase a lot of my inventory within Canada and then have prep centers take it across the border. The other thing to keep in mind is when you are dealing with that $800 per warehouse per day of what you can send in, the cool way around this number is that you could use, say, 5 different prep centers. Well, then you can have 4,000, technically 4,000 per warehouse per day, because you'll have 800 in 5 different warehouses, and each warehouse can each prep center can take $800 per warehouse per day. So that's kind of a way around it, is there is a bunch of different prep centers here within Canada. So you could reach out to several of them, and then that's how you can get more inventory across the border at once. Once you've scaled your business to a point where you need that, then that's a way around it. Other than that, the biggest key in selling on Amazon.com from Canada is constantly running your searches, whether you use tactical arbitrage or whether you do manual sourcing. However you're finding your inventory to resell on Amazon, it's important to constantly be searching for inventory to purchase and resell, because the more inventory that you have, the easier this business model is going to be, the easier it's going to be to sell on Amazon.com. And Amazon.com, the reason you would want to sell on Amazon.com over just selling on Amazon.ca if you live in Canada is the fact that Amazon.com is the largest online marketplace in the world. So it's 10 times the size of the Canadian market, if not more. So, I mean, I highly recommend, even if you're living in Canada, to at minimum sell on Amazon.com. And then if you can, also sell on Amazon.ca. That way you're diversifying yourself onto 2 different marketplaces, and it allows you to get your inventory in front of more eyes. So, I mean, let's say you buy 10 of one toy, you could send like 2 to the Canadian side and 8 to the US side. That's kind of how I would do it, because the Amazon.ca side of things is way slower, so it's going to take a lot longer for that inventory to sell, whereas Amazon.com stuff sells a lot quicker. So that's why I would send it. Let's just say you had 10. That's why I would send the majority to Amazon.com, because the stuff is going to sell faster. It's guaranteed. So that's kind of the way you go about selling on Amazon.com from Canada, is the purchasing inventory in Canada or purchasing it in the United States, and then either using a prep center to take it across the border in Canada, or a prep center to just directly send it to an Amazon FBA warehouse in the United States if you're purchasing the inventory within the United States. So that's kind of the way to go about it. If you do have any questions, feel free to comment those in the comments below, and I will do my best to answer them. I think that's all I can think of at this point. But that is the gist of it, of how you can purchase items in Canada and resell them on Amazon.com, or how you can live in Canada and sell on Amazon.com while purchasing your inventory in the United States. So I hope this video helped you guys. Like I said, if you have any questions, make sure you comment those below. And if you have not already subscribed to my YouTube channel, please subscribe. It would mean a lot, and I will see you guys next time.